Thank you, John, and good morning, everybody. This weekend, in fact, yesterday, the Democratic Alliance Federal Council, which is the highest body outside a federal Congress, met here in Johannesburg. All people from across South Africa, all 9 provinces, the provincial leaders, various structures of the various legislatures, various municipalities, various regions in South Africa, had a full day discussing very important matters yesterday. That meeting was chaired by the chairperson of the Federal Council, Ms. Helen Ziller. Very important Federal Council, the first Federal Council for the year 2025. And the main purpose of this Federal Council was to prepare for the local government election 2026. Because we have seen that it is possible for the Democratic Alliance to become the single biggest party in South Africa in the 2026 elections. Because what we have seen here in South Africa now, all municipalities in South Africa, major municipalities, major metros, also right here in Gauteng, they face a governance crisis and they face a service delivery crisis. And so the DA, Democratic Alliance Federal Council, have met to discuss our plan and the way forward for the local government election 2026. We have 4 specific objectives. Number 1, to retain our DA municipalities. You all know that the best run metropolitan municipality in South Africa is the one of the city of Cape Town. You have seen all the audit outcomes and the service delivery records as produced by both the Auditor General and by Stats SA confirms that where the DA is in municipal government, you get the best service delivery and the best record of good governance. And so our objective is to attain our municipalities. The second objective is to grow the Democratic Alliance footprint. Thirdly, is to govern in more towns. Fourthly, is also to rescue towns. We want to become the biggest party because what we have seen is that smaller parties, it doesn't help voters to vote for smaller parties. Gauteng is in a mess because the voters have voted for smaller parties that make absolutely no impact. On the contrary, what they do, they rather side with the ANC, vote for the ANC mayor, and get an ANC mayor, and the towns collapse further right in front of our eyes. So smaller parties at local government level increases the level of political instability. So we are asking voters across South Africa, from this experience that we have seen since the previous election and the collapse of municipalities caused mainly by the ANC and these smaller parties. If you rally behind the Democratic Alliance, you get a stable, functional local government and you get service delivery. And so there's a dire reality in South Africa. Many municipalities across South Africa have already collapsed. It's already a failed state. Almost every single municipality in the Free State, every single municipality in Northwest have already collapsed. Now we are now talking about the bread and butter politics of citizens. It affects citizens. There's a dire reality playing in front of us. What is that the reality at local government level? Well, we have seen that many towns, clean water, even here where we are right now in Gauteng, people failing to supply water, it has collapsed, severe water insecurity. And even here in Gauteng, we now have a water tanker mafia filling the gaps, criminals taking over. electricity supply falling apart, frequent breakdowns, and yet Eskom and NERSA is proposing a 40% increase in the tariffs. We have seen over the last 15 years South Africans becoming poorer in terms of the GDP per capita, and a 40% increase will just simply put many people out of jobs. The road infrastructure very critical. It has crumbled, potholes, no marking, no stormwater repairs and upgrades. We are now here in Gauteng, the financial capital of the continent, but the roads are crumbling right in front of us. Street lights, mass lights, not working. It's a haven for crime. I traveled yesterday from here, Johannesburg, to Pretoria. Many of the traffic lights were not working. Refuse collection, weeks on end, rubbish piled up outside homes and businesses. Traffic lights are broken, signage are unreadable, public safety, zero public safety capacity. The first function of a government, even before collecting tax, is to ensure the safety of the citizens. Not happening. Grass cutting, no mowers, no tractors, parks and public spaces, no care, no upgrades, illegal dumping. In fact, during the election, I was in Morofeng, there in the ward where the mayor was a dumping site this high, and he lives in that ward. Not caring, not interested. But there's hope. We can fix this mess. But this requires a new government. A government led by the party, the Democratic Alliance, because we know how to deliver and we have a track record. Now, this is not me speaking to you. This is the Auditor General of South Africa, and this is Stats SA. They measure, for example, 4 specific things. Access to water, where the DA governs the best. Access to electricity, where the DA governs the best. Refuse collection, where the DA governs the best. Access to sanitation, where the DA governs the best. Not me, Stats SA. And so this weekend, we came together as the Democratic Alliance Federal Council to put the DA machine in operation countrywide. And we are now preparing for the election, local government election 2026. We have deployed all our ground forces to work every day from now onwards. But we have developed a new approach to reaching voters where they live on matters that matters to them the most. It is now the realpolitik. They say all politics are local, and therefore our electoral campaigns will focus on local-based issues, but our campaign will be in hyperdrive. We are now going out everywhere in South Africa, beginning with our annual general meetings in every ward, our DA branches, every constituency in every region and every province, to reaffirm our commitment to the DA and to elect our new branch membership. The blue machine, we know, is at its strongest, and it is now focused on preparing for the next election. We have a rescue mission for your town. In this coming election, we know that this will be the make or break election for hundreds of towns in South Africa. Many people across towns have decided to fix things themselves. But this is unfair because they pay tax for a municipality. That money is being stolen and no services happens. And so this election, we are asking people no longer to waste their money, their time and their vote on smaller parties, because we see what happened in councils. They side with the ANC and the collapse continue. The DA is preparing to challenge for governance seriously in these places. The DA is now preparing to rescue your town. We can only do this with a strong DA vote. We cannot rescue these towns if you split your vote. Voting against the current failing government in your town needs to result in a strong challenger that brings a new government, a capable state at work. And only the DA can do this, because there are powers and functions described in the Constitution in Chapter 7, the objectives of local government. And all of these are being violated where the ANC is in government. And so my colleague, the chairperson of the Federal Council, will now outline the specifics, detail of our preparation for the local government election, specifically since we have dealt with our candidate nominations regulations, and Mozilla will now outline all of these detail as well as the time frames that is very critical for the elections. Our purpose is to rescue your town.